now, then we'll not have to make those announcements between the presentation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
All right. Okay, everything's set. So today we have a special presentation. Excuse me for the heat. You know, it's not my fault. Excuse me for the sun. It's not my fault. Excuse me for the crowded room. It's not my fault. Excuse me, Garland. Watch out. Okay, so this is going to be a special presentation. First, we'll chant Jai Radhamadhava quickly because it's a long presentation, and hopefully none of you get bored during the presentation. But it's over 100 slides. Oh my God. But don't worry, there's no text on anything except for 2 or 3 of the slides. I don't believe in text on slides. That's old school. The slides are simply to show pictures, and the person speaking should not be, let's say, blocked up by the slides. Slides are to enhance the speaker, not to do a whole presentation. So, Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunyabhigate Jai Radha Madhava Kunyabhigate Gopi Danabalabha Iri Padadhagate Gopi Danabalabha Iri Padadhagate Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Panachate Yamuna Tira Panachate Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunyabhigate Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunyabhigate Gopi Danabalabha Iri Padadhagate Gopi Danabalabha Iri Padadhagate Yasodhanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachade. Yamuna Tera Vanachade. Jai Radhu Madhuva Kunyavegate. Jai Radhu Madhuva Kunyavegate. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidakacharya. All Stoteta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Adanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shaima Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Maturadam Ki Jai. Jagannatha Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. So, Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Budale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samani Chinamani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Jesha Tardi. Is there any way to tilt the screen down? Yeah, I think you can tilt it down a little bit. It'll make it easier. Good. And then a little bit towards... No, the other way, the other way. So more people can see. I know it's hard, it's not that bright, and the new temple will have a much bright commercial screen to it. So, anyway, so try to make this interesting, try to see. So we're going to talk about New Goloka history, the past, and then we're going to talk about the present, and then hopefully we're going to talk about the future if we get to the future. As they say, back to the future. Anyway, so... let's start talking about New Goloka history. This is New Goloka, in case you haven't discovered. This is not just a temple, it's a New Goloka community. Difference. The temple is a temple, yes, but it's centered around, the whole community is centered around the devotees and the deities and serving His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So, a brief timeline. Whoops. If we can get to it. There we go. So in 1982, I arrived in North Carolina, and we're going to go through all the details, about this. 1982, we also registered ISKCON of North Carolina. In 1982, we purchased the 16 acres the temple is presently on. We also have 7 acres across the street. We also have another, another 10 acres where the devotees live there. We have devotees who purchase properties all around the area. We have another 30 acres that Madhava Prabhu purchased and is subdividing to allow devotees to own their own homesteads. So all that's happened in the short 40-something years. Anyway, so in 1983, we started construction on the temple. In 1985, the deities were installed. And by the time 2025 rolled around, when was that? I know, recently. We had 15,000 people come to Janmashtami. The police weren't too happy with it. And one of the devotees, Gopal, was so upset because there was a crowd and the police were upset too. So, of course, our movement started in New York, where His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, you can all see the picture, came and he established the first temple at 26 2nd Avenue. And here he is walking on 2nd Avenue, right near the gas station that's described there. And Prabhupada called his temple, well, actually it was called Matchless Gifts before, and it actually was a gift that could not be matched. And simply by the chanting of the Lord's holy names, so many devotees came. In fact, that's why I came to the movement, hearing Prabhupada's name, Prabhupada chanting the holy names on the radio and reading one of Prabhupada's books. But before that, I had a brief detour in my preaching activities. It was a little detour. This is me thinking I was very spiritual at 13 years of age. You can see that? But didn't know I wasn't the body. I didn't know Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All I thought was, get me out of here. I don't want to be standing there. But it was a religious ceremony. And then I joined Srila Prabhupada's Society in 1971, and you see this humble soul. Okay. Actually, I was just like overawed looking at Prabhupada playing the gong. And other times I just kept watching his hands playing the cartels. And other times I just watched his ears. I was just so fascinated with every movement that Prabhupada made. And this was taken in Los Angeles, this particular picture. And this is also, I was helping Sasru Maharaj in a fire sacrifice and there's Prabhupada behind. And here's me walking behind Prabhupada in different incarnation. Pretty skinny incarnation there. And then me going on Sankirtan, that's me right here. 1971, chanting my heart out, hoping to become liberated from the material world and get out of this miserable material world. So anyway, eventually, after taking sannyas in 1978 and having some brief excursions being temple president, actually traveling all over Latin America, having a brief excursion being temple president in Miami Beach, where we purchased a big hotel on Miami Beach and Collins Avenue, 2445 Collins Avenue. Trying my luck out as a real estate agent. So, okay, people can move forward. It's hard to see. I'm sorry for the sun. So then in 1982, I decided to do what a sannyasi is supposed to do, which is to take Mahaprasad. Oh, no, sorry. A sannyasi, what is a sannyasi supposed to do? Travel and preach and be dynamic and go to different places where there's no devotee. So I just thought, this is a great area, the Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro area, Winston-Salem area. Why is it so great? Because a lot of educated people. Actually, there weren't people from India at that time other than the hotel owners. That happened later on. It was just me and the so-called Americans. Anyway, so me and the rough people, Americans, and I was uncultured too. So anyway, and then our friends, the hotel owners here. So I decided I want to be right in the center of things. So here's like a circle. You see part of the circle. And here on the right side, you see Raleigh. On the left side, you see Greensboro, Winston-Salem. And where what they were centered by was good old Hillsborough. So we're within, 45 minutes of everywhere in the Raleigh area, of everywhere in the Greensboro area, a little further away from Winston-Salem, as you see the circles cutting through Winston-Salem. So I thought, let's go to Hillsborough. Nobody's heard of Hillsborough before. And certainly people ask, why'd you go to Hillsborough? Because it's right in the center of everything. And at that time, there were about 3 to 4.5 million people within this radius. And so now there's quite a few more. And this has become one of the most dynamic areas in the United States as far as the tech fields are concerned. The hospitals, it has more medical connected professionals than anywhere else in the United States per capita. You know, we have 3 major hospitals here. So I decided, let me come here. But we came and we had no resources. That means money. We had some broken down cars. It's myself and 2 other devotees came. And we had to really make things do with practically nothing. And that meant basically camping out. There's an early report about us. That's when I was trying to be cool with sunglasses on. And not wearing a shirt, sunglasses. So that's an old trailer that cost us, I think it cost us so little that they paid us to take it away almost. It was a wreck. And it was a trailer with an addition on it. But for a whole 1.5 to 2 years, we never got the addition to match up with the trailer because it was stuck in the mud. There was so much mud here. I had cleared the property, and another devotee, a Karuna Purna Shakti, she had helped clear the property, and there was just too much mud in the beginning. You know, this North Carolina mud. So basically, we had to endure the first winter or 2 just completely exposed. You imagine a double-wide trailer with only half of the trailer, completely exposed to the elements. And so it was kind of cold and kind of hot. And it was so cold, some mornings, you know what an Achman cup is? The water would be frozen in the Achman cup. So we couldn't say Achman. And then we had no bathrooms, except for the grate outside. We actually had the biggest bathroom of anyone. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was adventurous, and it was a challenge doing something for Krishna. So there you see the news article about it. And we had some devotees making the money to keep the temple going. And that's Tulsi Devi Dasi. Any of you heard of her? She's still around. And she went out at different times distributing Srila Prabhupada's books in the airport. And this is her Christmas attire. And giving cookies to people. And that's how we maintain the temple. And at that time, we had so little money that we didn't have money for boots. I mentioned there was mud everywhere. So we had to put plastic bags over our shoes when we walked around. But I was determined. We have to have a temple. And so here she is. This is on Franklin Street, I believe. On Franklin Street. And this is a funny advertisement we made one time. We need to fix a broken car. So I don't know if you can see in the upper left-hand corner, there's a picture of Mother Krishna Priya with a hammer and a screwdriver. It says, "Help Mother Krishna Priya fix our broken car." Asking for people to send donations. At the same time, we're asking for donations for a big temple. But anyway, that's kind of funny. So, donate a car. So it was actually, this whole slideshow and everything I'm talking about right now will be on the internet. I'm recording it. It's being recorded in the cloud and also recorded on YouTube so people on YouTube can see it. So and that's how little we had, how little resources. And Mother Tulsi, she slept in her car. Really, she slept in her car and at the airport many days to do Prabhupada's book distribution. She is so dedicated to book distribution. Here's a picture of her in the airport. That's from a news article. You see that? Okay. Later on, you can refer to all this on the internet. So we So we decided to lay out a site for a new temple, even though we had no money. So I learned how to be a surveyor. Necessity is the mother of invention, isn't it? So you learn how to do things. I mean, I really don't need an architect. I could learn that pretty quickly too, but I decided to give Jadurani and Omkar some mercy. So I'm speaking joke. Of course, as you'll see in one of the future slides, my design skills are not so great. When you see a picture of me, how I dress the deities, then you'll think it's better we have Jadurani and Omkara. So, anyway, so we learned surveying, and we learned construction, and we learned how to design, and we learned how to use AutoCAD, and we learned how to engineer a building, and we learned, well, a lot of this had stuff I learned in the university, but not surveying. And so here's some of the early pictures. I have bigger pictures of this, but one of these pictures, where's this? Anyway, this is, you see the lower left-hand corner. I don't know if you can see so clearly. It's our campfire, which is the Sunday feast. We sit around the campfire and toast pakoras. And the top here is the scale model of the temple. You'll see more of that in a second. And so we had a pet cow. Her name was Devyani, and when I used to take rest, I would take rest with her. She really was a complete, absolute pet. Like you see people in the West, they go to sleep with their dog, right? I didn't want to sleep with a dog or a cat. They're moochy. Cows are not moochy. Even the stool of the cow is wonderful. I remember we'd sometimes going to the Ganges and rubbing in cow manure all over our bodies before we went bathing. Did anyone do that? Yeah, you've done that. Yeah, and it's very purifying. So Devyani would sit with me and take prasadam. And I'm not her prasadam, as you can. She's trying to eat the garland around my neck. But she would also participate in the Sunday feast. And I used to milk her. I mean, she was actually my best friend in the early days of the movement. Actually, Prabhupada's my best friend. But anyway, so I used to take her around for walks. I used to jog with her. So unfortunately, she passed away due to bloat after some time. That means she ate too much. Devotees, you have to be careful with cows. You don't want to feed them a lot of fried things and stuff like that because they can't digest it. They have 3 stomachs. It's very dangerous. Here's me and the cow again. And the slab for the present temple, slab means the concrete base. For the temple, we used to take her for walks to purify the temple on top of the temple slab, temple foundation. Before we built the temple, you see some of the blocks there in the lower hand corner. And she used to join, this is the Sunday feast, she used to join us. You see her poking her head out under the bench as I'm trying to eat the Sunday feast. And there was another cow there, Rohini, in the background. So, and that's Rohini, and the attendants at the Sunday feast used to really love to see the cows. As Mother tells me, don't ask me when we're going to get cows again. Because it requires a lot of people. It's like having a baby. So now, sometimes people ask me the question, why don't you get a cow? Okay, you stay here 24/7, we'll get a cow. Some people ask me a question, why don't you install more deities on the altar? Okay, don't go to India. Just stay here 24/7, and we'll install these and dedicate your life. Forget about your wife, all those things. Someone asked me that question yesterday. I was going to say, forget about your wife, forget about going to India. You're full-time, and then we'll put that deity on the altar. But you don't understand, people don't understand how difficult it is to take, I mean, it's wonderful, but it also requires a lot of attention and detail. And here's operating machinery, which I learned to do too, digging holes in the ground to make foundations. That's me going underground. Another devotee, that's Jagannath. Some of you may know Jagannath. Digging a hole in the ground to make posts, to put posts in, and we're going to put cement in background, laying blocks. I laid a lot of the blocks in the background. You see this devotee, Amita Chara, who helped lay blocks. So each of those blocks weighed about 55 or 60 pounds. They're not just light blocks. And we learned how to do it, and they're all laid in a straight line. You can go downstairs and look at it. We did a great job. Thank you. So, and here with the devotees, Devyani walking on it, and that's Amita Chara, another devotee, Baladev. That's Maya Priya. That's Karuna Purna Shakti, and Mother Tulsi over there on the foundation of the temple. Some guests. This devotee is Doug, who's coming. Some of you may know Bhakta Doug. He's the head of Trucking Movers, which is a big moving firm around here. And just looking, more guests looking at the temple. And then all the concrete on the top dome was put on by hand. This is, there's a devotee here, Leela Raj, Amita Chara, and Sarvatma and Jayadas up there. And they're just taking bucket by bucket. The concrete was applied by hand rather than to save money, because we didn't want to use a concrete sprayer because we had very little money. And actually, the money came from my friends in Greensboro, the motel owners. And it's interesting, we never took out a loan for anything like that. They just, whatever we needed, they paid for, because they respected that I respected Lakshmi. That's one interesting thing. If you treat Lakshmi well, then you'll never be bereft of Lakshmi. So for those of you who are married, that means if you treat your wife well, you won't be bereft of money. Prabhupada actually said that. The husband and wife don't argue. Is that possible? Then there'll be sufficient, always a lot of Lakshmi. And, digging the septic tank for the temple, laying out the different patterns for the roof. You see here there's hexagons, pentagons, and building the stairs. That's Amita Chara down there, building the stairs, laying out the different triangles for the windows that you see above me. So that's laying out the window frames. And here's the temple partially up, supported by scaffolding, devotees coming in to see it, another bulldozer that we learned to operate in front of the temple, and me applying a little bit of the concrete and smoothing it down. So we learned how to do everything. And then the completed temple. The first year when we installed the deities, we had to cook in this old trailer because the downstairs was not completed. And this is the day of Janmashtami when we were going to install the deities. Putting down the floor at the last minute. You can imagine how much anxiety I was in. That's Jayadas, and these are other devotees who are putting down the parquet floor. And we had a first magazine was called New Goloka Spirit, which we distributed to everybody. And there were some news articles. There's a news article giving out prasadam. I don't know if you can see this lower right-hand picture. This cute little dumpling there. Do you recognize him? Yes. His name is Gopal. He was only 11 years old. Oh, no, actually he was older. At that point. He's probably watching. He's probably watching right now and getting upset with me. Anyway, so that's the first Janmashtami. And then the devotees decided to build me a house in the woods. And there's the log cabin, which is still standing there today. And this is what it looks like. It was built actually mostly by this devotee, Karuna Purna Shakti, who visits here from time to time. She comes to different. So, anyway, so I lived there, and there was no running water. So we take our bath in the middle of the winter, standing outside on the porch and pouring the water over our head. And when the water got to my feet, it would freeze. So sometimes we had to peel our feet off of the deck. And the bathroom was obviously outside. But it was blissful because we were doing something for Prabhupada. I would not do it for myself, my own sense gratification, but doing it for Prabhupada, it is so blissful to undergo austerities. Actually, the word for austerities in Sanskrit is tapa, which basically means to burn, doesn't it? So you're burning away cheto darpanam arjam, bhavam vagni nivrapanam, isn't it? You're burning away all the impure things in your heart when you're serving Krishna. Maybe give me the other microphone. When you're serving Krishna, you're burning away all the impure things in your heart, and you're able to perceive the spiritual reality. And so then someone wanted to sponsor the deities. So I went to India, that's better, and ordered the deities. Radha Golokananda, I went to Jaipur, and we showed them a picture, and I described what I wanted as far as deities. That's the shipping bill of the deities. And the original shipping bill is actually made out to my legal name. So I described, and it took them 2 years to carve the deities from the blocks of marble. And normally people go there and they buy the deities off the shelf. But I wanted something very specific. Not something. I wanted Krishna very specific in a specific way. And so it took them 2 years from the marble, chip, 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 chip. I visited them in 1 year afterwards, and then 2 years afterwards. And I picked up the deities from New York. I walked them through, not walked them through, I carried them through customs. And customs, they asked, what's in that case? I said, Krishna. They said, Krishna. We opened the case, and they said, oh my God. Okay. No taxes. And then I drove them back in my car from New York because I didn't want to transship them. And then they stood for some time in my log cabin. These are the deities in front of the log cabin. I took a picture, and they would sit or stand in my log cabin until they were installed. That's the beautiful forms of the deities before they were installed. Radha Golokananda. And then after they were installed, we had very few devotees here, and so I was called to do a lot of the deity worship. Here you see me fanning Radha Golokananda in the early days, and also cooking. This is one of the dresses of Radha Goloka in the early days. We had a singasana that was made in New Vrindavan, one of these gold singhasanas. And where's Madhava? Is he here? So Madhava stole it from us. And he won't return it. Anyway. So we had to get another one. And Bhakti Churu Maharaj made that his devotees in Ujjain made the second singasana. Oh. Anyway. And this is Radha Golokananda in the early days. Dressing style was very, very simple, as you see here. Very, very simple. And here's a sample of what I did when I dressed the deities. Oh my God. This is why the Pujari kicked me off the altar. Because my whole idea of dressing Radha and Krishna was to dress them as if wind was blowing through the altar. So I wrapped Krishna's hair around his chin, and you'll see another picture. There's Radharani's veil spread out throughout the whole altar. I didn't dress the deities in this picture. It's another early picture. Here's the picture when I dressed the deities. You see Radharani's veil behind Krishna? Which I used as a backdrop, and then that was Krishna Priya was the head pujari. She said, "You're not going to own the altar again. You can do an arti if you like." So anyway, here's the photo. Imagine today if we opened the deities and they were dressed like that. Someone would say, "Who did that?" Oh my God. Anyway, Krishna show that, hey, Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jagatpate. He's really Karuna Sindhu, merciful to put up with me, you know. I was really testing his Patram Pushpam Pulam Doyam Yamai Bhakti Prayachate. So I didn't dress the deities, but I brought all the leaves from the garden, put them behind the deities. And so it took about an hour to clean up after in the evening. That's another reason they got upset with me. I'd go out into the garden, take the branches off the trees and everything, just put it all behind the deities, got a lot of birds, you know, plastic birds, put them all over the place. The Pujari also got upset because she said, can't put birds above Krishna because they'll pass stool on Krishna's head. And I said, these are Vaikuntha birds. They don't pass stool. And this is one of our early Janmashtami. You see Mother Krishna Priya there. Whoops, sorry. Want to go ahead. And then I'm there on the stage. It was some sort of play we were doing for Janmashtami. Probably the killing of Kamsa or something. And then Bhakti Churu Maharaj joined us in the early days. And earlier I was talking, you know, we were celebrating his appearance day today. So I was mentioning that he came here to stay with many of his disciples who has a great association. And he was trying to set up this prasadam distribution business, which ultimately was very successful. He was able to sell it, and it was further developed by another devotee. So he spent several years here with many of his disciples from Bengal and from other places. And that's a devotee in the background named Shukada, and the other devotee in the background is named Govinda, who you can't see too clearly. That's Govinda here. He's in Alachua right now, is one of my disciples in Alachua. Bhakti Churu Maharaj and I bathing the deities. Is that Radharaman in the background? Looks like him. Radharaman is still around. He's a great devotee. You have to convince him to renounce his business. What? Where is he? Oh, he's got a mat. We don't want to recognize him. He's a great devotee. I mean, just such a nice Vaishnava. And he should just travel with me. So anyway, and here's me before I got thrown out of the kitchen. No, I actually was a good cook, sorry. That's one thing I could do, because I like to eat. Prabhupada said, only a lazy man can't cook. You know, one time there was a devotee who lost his wife at an early age. You know, his wife passed away or something. And he's from India. Well, close that. And so his mother called him and says, you got to get married again. And he said, I don't want to get married. And she said, who's going to cook for you? And I told him, is that a good reason to get married at 50? Because you can't learn how to cook? That's an expensive cook, you know. I told him, you give me the money and I'll cook for you. So anyway, so Prabhupada said only a lazy person doesn't know how. Prabhupada was the expert cook. And I learned from Prabhupada, and I learned all these different preparations. Things that, amazing preparations, like Purvaji used to cook at the Sunday feast, isn't it? Remember, samosa, I mean, everything with ghee. We never cooked anything with oil. Everything was ghee. I remember the first time I took something with ghee, I remember it to this day. And here I am with a mop, getting ready to clean the kitchen, or getting angry with someone. I can't figure out what that picture was. So, giving a class in the early days, and then Bhakti Churu Maharaj and I enjoying the morning program together. We had so much nice association. I mean, I lament that I don't have his association anymore in the Vapu form, but it was extremely sweet. Again, picture of him, and myself and Bhakti Churu Maharaj. That's in the hall where we had to seal up the hall with tarps on the side during the winter so it didn't get too cold. Because it wasn't a hall, it was just a pavilion outside. And we would sit together and talk about Krishna Katha. You see how he's always holding my hand? Very, very sweet relationship we had. And of course, Bhakti Tirthamaraj is there too. He used to visit, and you see the nice little girl is on his lap. Very affectionate, wonderful devotee. A very strong devotee. He used to tell me that if any of his devotees left Krishna consciousness, disciples left Krishna consciousness, he'd take away their spiritual names. Very heavy, sweet, amazing, strict devotee. And taking prasadam with him outside on the lawn. Japataka Maharaj visiting. So we had a lot of nice visitors. Kavi Chandra Maharaj visiting here. Guru Prasad Swami visiting. Looks like I was always playing the harmonium. That was before the guitar, Anyway, this is Bhakti Tirthamaraj. We had a Guru Puja, and you can see how sweet he was with the devotees, and how we were just like really good friends. And you see this amongst the older Prabhupada disciples. We're just like buddies. We've all been through the war together. Like the veterans of war, Krishna Conscious War, and Hridayananda Maharaj visiting. And Hridayananda Maharaj again visiting me playing the harmonium again. Why don't I play the harmonium anymore? I do, but I like the guitar. And this is one of my friends from India, Leeladhar Gupta. I don't know if any of you know him. He's a famous Ayurvedic physician from Vrindavan, and he used to visit us in other temples, and I still go to him. He's pretty much retired right now. But whenever I go to Vrindavan, I visit him. I highly recommend him. He has this place called Dhanvantari Dham, which is right on the Mathura Road, but he grows his in herbs. So you look him up. If any of you are interested, I can give you his contact information. But he's a bona fide Ayurvedic person. And he doesn't cheat. He doesn't try to sell you things. He just wants to teach you how to be healthy. And we had our Govardhan Puja. I don't know if you can see here, what I used to do is throw prasadam at the devotees during Govardhan Puja. You see the prasadam in the air there? So we had such a good time until someone stopped me. Because I know in Vrindavan they used to throw prasadam, they would eat it. So I just wanted to feel like I was in Vrindavan. And so in the modern days, going fast forward to the modern day, this is not years and years ago. So nowadays, guys, we're getting pretty close to the end. Didn't take as long as I thought. Nowadays, we have all these wonderful plays, theatrical performances, dances, and thanks to Champaka Lata, thanks to Gopinath Acharya, thanks to many other devotees who participate in these things, it's become very, very attractive to people. The dance performances are bringing many, many people to Krishna consciousness. The school is bringing many people to Krishna consciousness. The dramas are bringing many people to Krishna. It's all participatory. So people feel a part of it. There's the school. We have our daily school here. There's me with one of the students who was left back many, many years. This person here. He's still learning bhakti. Anyway, and some of the other school children, there's daily school children, and some other ones. And then we'll get to the new temple. That's not only in the planning stage, we have the permits. Construction has already started across the street on the parking lot, if many of you have seen. And here's a view, virtual view, of the inside of the temple. Very, very nice, beautiful temple. A view of the altar. The altar will be quite a little bit different than this. You'll be able to see the deities from a wider angle. And what we're going to have is back illuminated paintings on the wall. Like many of you have been to the Houston temple, You'll see these are transparencies, paintings that are very beautiful of the disciplic succession, Krishna's pastimes, and Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. And there's windows up here. These are called clerestory windows. They give us natural illumination in the temple. And of course, many of you have seen this picture of the temple. And another picture of the temple. And, whoops, went a little further. This is really what the paintings are going to look like on our wall. This is the Houston temple. Gives you a little bit of an idea. Here's the disciplic succession. And because they're back illuminated, the illumination is very even over the whole temple, over the whole picture. And you can see it everywhere in the temple room. You know, it's really an effective strategy. And the devotees here are dancing in ecstasy. Class will be something like that. On the walls of the new temple, we're going to have these inbuilt seats, cushioned seats, where people can sit down. We won't have such a need of these seats or the chairs that we're using right now because it'll be part of the temple. And this is a little design. This is the second floor of the temple, the design, of course. And this is the present building. You see the dome, of course. And then the second floor, you have some offices, classrooms, another bathroom up there, and some more offices on the upper side right over there. And of course, nothing over the deities and nothing over the main temple. This is the first floor, including the hall. You'll see a parikrama path around the deities. There's the altar, parikrama path around the deities. There's going to be a baby room. You know what a baby room is? That means a room up here that has a glass wall so the babies and the mothers can see what's happening in the temple without creating a mess. The walls will be padded, soundproof, stainless steel, you know, whatever we have to do. What's that? Okay, I forgot to tell our architect that. You know, just to keep everything silent. And there'll be a speaker in there so they can hear class over there screaming. So, that, and then this is the general layout. You got the present temple here, and the property across the street is being turned into, a lot of it, into the parking lot. And there's a lot of complex things that have to be done in that parking lot, such as this retention pond to adhere to the restrictions, you know, for water runoff on the property. So it's very, very expensive. Just to give an idea of some of the expenses that we're having to pay for, just to do this parking lot and the walkway to the temple and some of the parking of the temple is going to be $360,000. Just that alone. Because there's so many requirements. Jadharani and Omkar have been working on this for years, basically, with engineers, because the county is very stringent as far as these requirements for water retention. You know, they don't want to create erosion. And so we've set aside a place here for later on if we ever want to build a gigantic temple. And a septic area for the gigantic temple, but there's plenty of parking. How many spaces? 100-something spaces, and plus we'll have grounds they can park on too. You know, we'll still have that grass grounds where you see where the square is here. And while they're doing construction, this part of the property will still be available for parking, right? The upper section. Yeah, they have a fence. I have a picture of that. There's a picture I'm going to show everybody. And so there's a nice walkway. It'll actually be a walkway. We're going to I'm trying to get them to put a light, you know, at least blinking lights there. Yeah, if we can bribe them. There's some Indians in the... sorry about that. Anyway. Yeah, we'll put something. Like flashing lights, red light, green. I know, we can't do that. I'm just joking. But at least there'll be a crosswalk with light, some sort of warning there so people can cross. So get a parking lot and then revamping the present parking lot. And so another 2 pictures that I just got today, like what's called elevations from the side. There's going to be a very nice shikura with chakra on top and kalasas on top. And everything's going to be lit on top with spotlights focusing right on the shikara. And just beautiful design, different views. Show the what? Oh, here, the altar. Yeah, this is the altar underneath the shikara. There's like a cross section. Yeah, it's a cross section looking at it straight. So just other pictures. And what this is, we're thinking very seriously of using, this substance is called corian. Everyone's heard of corian before? No. It's a substance that looks exactly like marble. And it can be carved in what's called a CNC machine, which we're going to show you in a second. CNC is a computerized machine that carves things, carves wood, carves plastic, and it looks exactly like marble. Vikashananda Prabhu has a sample of it. Is he here? I don't see him. Yeah, you have a sample of it with you. He can show you what it's like. So this won't be put on immediately. This will be done after the temple. We have the deed in the temple, worshiping the temple, as far as the finishing touches, because this could take another year after we finish the temple to do all the decorations. But we want to we're shooting to have the temple ready for next John Mastabe. Right? And John Rani says that it will be ready. Really? It'll be ready. It won't be the last day. Because we're going to need a certificate of occupancy and everything. Okay. And the walls of the temple are going to be very well insulated. We're using insulated blocks on the wall of the temple. So the cost of heating and cooling will be minimal. Saving a lot of money, ecological. So you see these elaborate carvings. Also, in each and every temple, I don't know if you can see, this is the seat on the wall of the Houston temple. These sort of seats we're going to have here. Cushioned seats where people can sit comfortably around the side of the temple and hear class. Or if they can't dance in kirtan, they can sit during kirtan. Here's the CNC machine. These carved marble-like substances, they come directly out of this machine. It's all programmed in. It can be programmed in with Krishna's pastimes. It can do three-dimensional. Isn't it? It can do sculptures. And we have that machine, not here in New Goloka, but we have this machine in New Talavan, which is part of my GBC zone. And they're just finishing up their temple right now. And they're willing, at a price, to do work for us too. So this is a little long term, so it pays to have connections. So just a few facts. Some of you may be wondering, what about, there's so many temples around, temples in Greensboro now, we have temples in Morrisville, we have temples in Cary, this temple, that temple. What makes New Goloka so special? Okay, I'm going to read this real quickly. I gave a whole class about it yesterday, but I don't have time for a whole class about this. I'm just going to read it. We were the first temple in the Greensboro, Raleigh area. There was no other temple in this area when we came here in 1982. We're the first there was a temple in Charlotte. It was the Hindu temple in Charlotte, which I preached at many times. We're the first Radha Krishna temple in North Carolina in 1982. Our temple is congregationally based. It's not hired people. Everyone's a volunteer, no salaries. Nobody here gets a salary. You know, I'm personally, whatever donations people give me goes into building this temple. I'm just a poor sannyasi. Dressed in a cotton dhoti, no silk for me. I can't afford it. So anyway, so it's a very unique situation. We don't have any paid pujaris. So it's not that you say, oh, install another deity. Okay, bring someone from India, give them $70,000 a year. Okay. No. Prabhupada said that if you pay someone for service, all they get out of that is the money, not the bhakti. So we believe in bhakti. Everybody's a volunteer here. We also have Sunday school, which I described, a daily school, a professional dance studio headed up by Champakalata, which many of you have seen the results of. It is professional. She is trained completely and professional certification. We're part of a society of 1,500 temples worldwide and communities, more than that, communities worldwide, following the directions and teachings of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who is the foremost exponent of Sanatana Dharma in this world. Sanatana Dharma, what does Sanatana Dharma mean? It's not just another religious group. Sanatana Dharma means eternal principles that are mentioned in the Vedas, not someone's interpretation. Dharmam tu shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. That Dharma can only come from Bhagawan. Doesn't come from me, doesn't come from you, doesn't come from what I think Bhagawan said. Krishna is Bhagawan, incidentally. It comes from what he said. He says, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto. Okay. No, Krishna didn't mean what he said. He mean you should surrender to the impersonal. No. That's what people say sometimes, right? Krishna means me. Manmana, me. Think of me. Bhavan Mad Bhakto, become my devotee. Mad Yashi, Mam Namaskaru. Worship me. Offer your obeisances to me. Thus you will come to me. How many times you got to say me? Right, isn't it? I mean, Krishna's really hitting you over the head. Me, 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 me. Krishna can do that. If you say me, 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 you're in false ego. But when Krishna says me, 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 because aham sarvasya brahmavo, he is everything. Everything is, as far as Krishna can say, everything is me. Right? In one sense, everything's different. But that, we won't get into philosophy right now. That's Sanatana Dharma. Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aham Adiri Devanam. Everyone else, including the Devas, they are coming from Krishna. Should I quote that verse? Yastu Narayanam? No, I won't quote that verse. That may upset people. I upset a lot of people. But anyway, so did Prabhupada. So the teachings are based solely on the Vedic literatures. We're the largest distributor of Vedic literatures to the public in North Carolina. And all over the United States, ISKCON is the largest distributor of Vedic literatures. And all over the world, ISKCON is the largest distributor of Vedic literatures. There's no other organization that comes close to distributing Vedic literature. Here in North Carolina, we distributed last year 15,450 and 205 Bhagavatam sets. And of course, that's due to the hard work of Aditya Narayan Prabhu and his wife, Radha Radhika. So, and other devotees, all the devotees, cooperation, working together, volunteers. We also, this differentiates us from a lot of other places. We have a regular morning program that's shared online. We have everyday Shastra class, meditation, Kirtan Prasadam. We have a resident rascal who has spent that's me, resident sannyasi, I guess that's me, who has spent 55 years teaching bhakti. We have, and this is a big list. We have Rath Yatras and major parades in the area, major festivals including Nrsimha Chaturdasi, Janmashtami, Diwali, etc. Sunday program with 300 to 400 people. We're crowded and it's very warm. With class, kirtan, opulent prasad, entertainment, everything. Largest Janmashtami program of any temple in the area. Over 15,000 participants in 2025. We're almost finished. Sanskrit instruction by world-acclaimed Professor Amarendra. So is he here? No. So anyway, we're attracting a high quality of people to come because everything's focused on bhakti. Highest standard of deity worship, regular offerings and artis to the minute, to the second, beginning at 4 a.m. and ending at 8 p.m. daily. Over 30 new outfits for the deities every year. Janmashtami, we had 3 outfits for the deities. Brahminically trained pujaris with no salaries. Everybody gets equal, here's a big one, equal opportunity for men and women in deity worship. Men, women, and young people, too. We have young people, anyway, some of the young people, like really young, have been doing deity worship. Class, kirtan. We have devotees from diverse backgrounds. It's not simply one ethnic minority. Every state in India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Americans, a few Americans, South Americans, Europeans, Chinese, Africans, Japanese, and probably a few other nationalities here. It's exciting, isn't it? Prabhupada said, United Nations of the spiritual world. I mean, that's what attracts people. When you see people from other ethnic or national backgrounds taking to Krishna consciousness, I don't need water. Don't give it to me. I'm going to end up throwing it. It's just, I'm too active right now. It's dangerous. You give it to me, it's just all over the place. It'll slow me down. So anyway, so we have devotees in United Nations of the spiritual world. It's really exciting, isn't it? Outreach to the major universities, regular Harinam outreach. Oh my God, so many people. So many different points. Weekly home sanghas, flowers that are seasonally grown for the worship ceremonies, right? Community care and support groups. Ujjwal is here, you know. She really cares for the devotees. Yeah. It's true. I mean, we've had devotees with all sorts of health problems. We go to the hospital. If they're passing away, they go to the hospice. Take care of them. Whatever people need. I mean, even when I had COVID several years ago, devotees rushed me all these different things, you know. Thank God they didn't bring me chicken soup, but everything else. That's a joke. Because they tried to feed Prabhupada chicken soup when he had cholera, and Prabhupada refused to take it. So, you know, it's just a very loving community in which we help devotees with their health, financial, counseling, and other needs. It's very wonderful. Nujala's taking care of that. See her. If you have any needs, you have financial needs especially, go to her. Don't go to me. So we have training sessions in diverse areas such as communication and empathy, nonviolent communication, regularly organized trips to festivals, holy places, temples in India and other locales, internet outreach. So as I mentioned before, Goloka is a community much more than just a temple. So you're joining a community, a family of devotees who are dedicated to carrying out Prabhupada's message of compassion. And it's free. We don't have any entry fee. You don't have a card you got to purchase. Become a member of Goloka. It's completely free until I come to your house and ask you something to pay for the temple. Anyways, but seriously, it's completely free. We have expert devotees who do yajnas and samskaras, and also vivaha ceremonies. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I was going through this yesterday, trying to come up with all these different specific points, special points that Goloka is doing, and I was amazed. Like, my God, we're doing all these things, and I just started, you know, digging the ground and learning surveying. And what does it come to now? And then a new temple. So we have opportunities for service. Here's the killer. So if any of you are interested in any of these things, you can see me or Nityanarayan Prabhu or Vikashananda Prabhu or Leela Shakti there. And these are different sponsorship items for the new temple. It's an opportunity to serve Krishna. There's no pressure. It's simply we're giving devotees an opportunity to render service to the deities and be connected eternally to Shri Shri Radha Golokananda. That's all. And so if any of you are interested, specifically Vikashananda Prabhu, everybody knows Vikashananda? You want to raise your hand so everybody can tell who it is? Vikashananda Krishna? He's the world's best auctioneer. If you want a pot of sweet rice sold for $2,000, come to him. I'm talking about the Panihati Festival. Anyway, there's many different items, many different opportunities, and finally, just like to show one quick video that I quickly edited yesterday. This is Goloka Janmashtami, showing the cooperation of the devotees. It's not the crowds, this is before the crowds came, because people came to the temple. They immediately got tilak and got welcomed. Goloka is very, very welcoming. See how happy the devotees are? Because they're serving from their hearts. Look at this kitchen crew. How happy. And then cooking outside. These big pots for the major festivals. And then all these different displays we had outside, like the swings for the deities. And what else do we have? So many things. We're going to just very quickly walk through it. And then, of course, there's Nadi. So Bhagavad Gita sales, signing up for the Abhishek. You know, and this, Minesh did a great job with the Abhishek. And then meditation, mantra meditation, and then the favorite thing was the lassi and the juice. Everyone's smiling to take prasadam, and the devotees selling prasadam. We even had neighbors coming, ordering online for prasadam, because everybody wanted to take prasadam. So it's very, you see, everyone cooperated together. It's all volunteers. Everyone was so happy. I mean, everybody had a smile on their face that night. I remember it. And then, of course, the program in the hall, and the whole setup outside. Then the the boat festival. This is very, very quick. I just had to cut everything down. I have a longer video, and that's it. And then, whoops, sorry about that. Go to the next slide. Finally, we're doing all this for the service of Radha Golokananda, because when one waters the root of the tree, and Radha Golokananda, the root of the tree, then everybody gets watered. And of course, by serving their parts and parcels, Radha Golokananda get very, very pleased. So this is a devotee care community, a community of loving Vaishnavas dedicated to the service of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we should never forget, it's only by the mercy of Prabhupada that any of us are here. I'm here to speak about this. Otherwise, I'd be like that little kid stuck on the pulpit in the beginning of the slideshow. And we want to thank everybody for assisting in so many wonderful ways. And so, you want us? Now I'll turn over my sponsor.
Well, I'll start off by just sharing a little bit of what is my heart going through. When I was looking at those first few pictures that Maharaj started sharing, when there was trailer, and when Maharaj was mentioning that the Achaman cup froze, and when the water from the head, when it goes down to the feet, it froze. Oh my God, Maharaj. my heart is melting. And with the journey that you have transformed this temple, this community, from back in those days to what it is today, my respect, awe, reverence, and my love for you has gone up 1,000%. And I offer full dandavats to you from 1,000 directions, Maharaj. We could all see Maharaj was listing down 32 different things that